Pixar has always been known for blending family-friendly animation with profound emotional storytelling. But with Soul, the studio takes things to a whole new level. This isn't just a movie about chasing your dreams. It's an existential exploration of what it means to live a meaningful life.
I heard this story about a fish. He swims up to this older fish and says, "I'm trying to find this thing they call the ocean." "The ocean," says the older fish. "That's what you're in right now." "This," says the young fish, "this is water. What I want is the ocean."
While it may look like a colorful adventure with quirky characters, beneath the surface, Soul is not really a kid's movie at all. Let's be clear. Pixar has a history of tackling big ideas. Inside Out explored the complexity of human emotions, Up confronted grief and aging, and Toy Story 3 showed us what it feels like to let go of childhood. But Soul? It digs even deeper. Its core message hits adults where it hurts. Your spark isn't necessarily your purpose in life. It's the thing that makes you want to live.
A spark isn't a soul's purpose. Oh, you mentors and your passions, your purpose is your meanings of life. So basic.
The film's protagonist, Joe Gardner, voiced by Jamie Foxx, is a middle school music teacher and jazz pianist who believes his entire purpose in life is tied to music. His dream is to play professionally, and for years he's been chasing that one big break. But when he finally gets it, fate intervenes. Joe dies. Or at least, he almost does. He's transported to the Great Before, a whimsical realm where souls discover their passions before heading to Earth. This setup seems lighthearted at first, but as the story unfolds, Soul reveals itself as something much deeper. The film forces us to confront heavy questions about our own lives. Have we been too obsessed with success? Have we missed the beauty of life's smaller moments? And ultimately, does our life need a grand purpose at all? Joe's journey becomes less about reclaiming his life and more about learning to appreciate the life he already had. This is where Soul truly stands apart from most animated films. Its message is universal, but it feels especially relevant for adults, many of whom are struggling with burnout, unfulfilled dreams, or the overwhelming pressure to succeed. Pixar doesn't shy away from showing the harsh reality of this mindset. The scenes where Joe reflects on his life are devastating in their honesty. At first, we see Joe lamenting his mundane existence, eating alone at a diner, walking through the city without purpose. But by the end of the film, these same moments are reframed. They become sources of joy, little reminders that life's beauty isn't always grand and cinematic. It's in the quiet, fleeting moments we often overlook. Joe's journey takes a profound turn when he meets 22, a soul voiced by Tina Fey who has been stuck in the Great Before for centuries.
Thanks, but no thanks, Doc. I already know everything about Earth, and it's not worth the trouble.
Come on, don't you want to fill out your past?
I'm comfortable up here.
Unlike other souls, 22 doesn't want to go to Earth. She's convinced that life is meaningless and prefers to stay in the safety of her current existence. 22's cynicism and Joe's obsession with success create an interesting dynamic, a clash of perspectives that ultimately becomes the heart of the film. At first, Joe sees 22 as nothing more than a means to an end. If he can help her find her spark, she'll give him her Earth pass and he can return to his life. But here's the thing, 22's spark isn't the same as a purpose or passion. That's a distinction the movie brilliantly explores. For much of the film, both Joe and the audience assume that finding your spark means discovering your life's calling, music for Joe, or some other grand purpose for 22. However, the beauty of Soul lies in how it deconstructs that idea. The film gradually reveals that a spark isn't a job, a dream, or a singular passion. It's the simple desire to live and experience life in all its messy, unpredictable glory.
What am I doing with my life? I'm alive! I'm alive! Free yourself!
This realization begins to dawn on Joe when 22 experiences life on Earth for the first time. She inhabits Joe's body, while Joe is stuck in the form of a therapy cat, a hilarious and touching twist that leads to some of the film's most poignant moments.
It's the worst day of my life. I don't want to be here. I hate Earth.
Through 22's eyes, we see everyday life anew. She's fascinated by the way sunlight hits the pavement, the taste of pizza, and the way leaves drift in the wind. These tiny, seemingly mundane experiences become profound. It's a reminder that sometimes we get so caught up in chasing our goals that we forget to appreciate the present. There's a particularly powerful moment when 22 sits on the steps outside a barbershop, watching people walk by and feeling the wind on her face. A small leaf falls into her hand, and for the first time, she truly understands what it means to live. No grand revelations, no epic achievements, just the simple, quiet beauty of existence. For Joe, this experience is eye-opening. He starts to question everything he believed about his purpose.
What's wrong, Teach?
It's just, I've been waiting on this day for my entire life. I thought I'd feel different.
Is his life only valuable if he becomes a successful musician? Has he wasted all those years teaching, believing it was just a stepping stone to something greater? Joe's transformation reaches its emotional peak when he finally returns to his body and gets the gig of his dreams, performing with the famous jazz musician, Dorothea Williams. It's the moment he's worked his whole life for.
Get ready, Joe Gardner. Your life is about to start.
The performance is flawless. His dream is realized. But something feels off. So many of us spend our lives chasing that next big goal, believing it will finally bring us happiness. But once we achieve it, we often find ourselves asking, what now? For Joe, this parable is a wake-up call. He realizes that his fixation on becoming a successful musician has caused him to miss out on the simple joys of life, moments that were always there, waiting to be appreciated. This shift in perspective is perfectly captured in the montage that follows. Joe sits at his piano, reflecting on the seemingly insignificant moments that now take on new meaning. Feet on the beach, a delicious dessert, the laughter of loved ones. Suddenly, these everyday experiences become more vivid, more valuable than any performance could ever be. Pixar has always excelled at creating emotional resonance through visual storytelling, but this scene is something special. It's a celebration of the ordinary, a reminder that life isn't about chasing one grand purpose. It's about finding beauty in the small moments that make up our daily existence. Joe's journey mirrors something many adults go through. We set out with ambitious dreams, often tying our identity and self-worth to our success, or lack thereof. But life rarely unfolds the way we expect. Dreams change, paths shift, and that's okay.
Music is all I think about. From the moment I wake up in the morning to the moment I fall asleep at night.
You can't eat dreams for breakfast, Joey.
Then I don't want to eat. This isn't about my career, Mom. It's my reason for living. And I know Dad felt the same way. I'm just afraid that if I died today, that my life would have amounted to nothing.
Soul teaches us that our worth isn't defined by what we accomplish. It's defined by how we experience and appreciate the world around us. At first glance, Soul might seem like a typical Pixar film. Vibrant animation, quirky characters, and plenty of humor. But beneath its colorful surface lies a narrative that feels surprisingly mature, even philosophical. This is not just a movie for kids. It's a deeply reflective story that resonates more with adults, especially those who've grappled with questions about purpose, fulfillment, and the meaning of life. Pixar has always blurred the line between kids' movies and films for grown-ups, but Soul takes it to a whole new level. Unlike other Pixar classics such as Toy Story or Finding Nemo, which balance emotional depth with child-friendly adventure, Soul feels almost designed specifically for adults. Take the film's core message, for example. Your spark isn't your purpose. That's a concept few children will fully grasp. Most kids haven't yet been consumed by the pressure to define their lives by a single passion. But for adults, many of whom have struggled with feeling unfulfilled or stuck, this message is both timely and necessary. The film also explores complex themes like existentialism, identity, and self-worth in ways that few animated films dare to. The idea of the great before, a realm where souls discover their personalities before heading to Earth, may seem whimsical on the surface, but it serves as a vehicle for some of the most profound moments in the movie. Joe and 22's journey isn't about saving the world or defeating a villain. It's about something much quieter and more personal, rediscovering the beauty of life itself. For Joe, that means learning to let go of his rigid definition of success and embrace the present. For 22, it's about finding the courage to live it all. The barbershop scene is a perfect example of how Soul blends simplicity with depth. What starts as a lighthearted conversation about haircuts turns into a touching exploration of purpose and happiness.
I wouldn't call myself stuck, but I never planned on cutting heads for a living.
Wait, but you were born to be a barber, weren't you?
I wanted to be a veterinarian.
So, why didn't you do that?
I was planning to when I got out of the Navy. Then my daughter got sick, and barber school is a lot cheaper than veterinarian school.
Well, that's too bad. You're stuck as a barber and now you're unhappy.
Whoa, slow your roll there, Joe. I'm happy as a clam, my man.
It's a reminder that life is full of detours, and that those detours can lead to something just as meaningful as the dreams we once clung to. Another subtle yet powerful moment comes when 22, in Joe's body, experiences the simple pleasures of life, feeling the wind, watching leaves float by, savoring a slice of pizza. These are everyday experiences most of us take for granted, but through 22's eyes, they become extraordinary. It's a reminder to slow down and appreciate the little things. In many ways, Soul is Pixar's most daring film yet. It doesn't rely on action-packed sequences or elaborate set pieces. Instead, it challenges us to reflect on our own lives and reconsider what truly matters. It's a film that asks big questions without offering easy answers, and that's precisely what makes it so impactful. So, is Soul a kids' movie? Technically, yes. But it's so much more than that. It's a heartfelt meditation on life, purpose, and the human experience, one that will likely resonate far more with adults than with children. And that's okay. Sometimes we need a film like Soul to remind us that simply being is enough. Soul isn't just another Pixar movie. It's a beautifully crafted story with a message that lingers long after the credits roll. It's a reminder that life isn't about achieving one big goal. It's about savoring the little moments along the way. And perhaps, like Joe, we can all learn to appreciate the present a little more and realize that our lives are already full of meaning, if we just take the time to see it.